can safely say my lunchbox did get shat in. We're the first team every day, travelled every game, on the bench quite a lot, but then Strachan never ever put us on. Looking back, I remember just doing anything I could to make that family's life miserable. Tom Henry couldn't get Ronaldinho in apparently, so he brought Steve Mcphee in. But my best season, I was out almost every fucking night. There was about 3-4 of them absolutely just stomping on me, kicking
Stoke
me.
fans.
Yeah, Stoke fans. I'm training fucking 24/7. I can't go for a beer. What can I do? Port Vale fans like, why could you do this? Why did you? Well, if you got offered a job that's going to triple your wages net, not gross, net, would you do it? Of course you're going to do it. I didn't realise at the time. I was depressed as fuck, and before I knew it, I was trying to kill myself. It was horrible.
Stephen Mcphee, how are we doing?
Very good, thank you. Thank you
Alright,
for
mate.
having me.
No, thanks
Good
for
to
coming
have
on,
you here.
mate.
We've had an early telling off from him as well.
Yep.
We're 4 pints in, or
Well.
2.
I do like my timekeeping,
Best mates now.
especially when it comes to business, but hey ho.
What did you
Each
say? If
each to their own.
you
We've-
can't be on time, fuck off.
Yeah, that was the term.
That was-
wasn't it?
that
So
was
we're
the
look- we're
phrase.
looking at it's actually happening. This. I mean, we.
Saying that the other day, I was emptying out the office and came across the old Hull bonuses, and I was looking at not the Hull, Blackpool bonuses, and obviously that stuff came out with Chelsea, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what a hell of a difference. Yeah.
Got to ask you about the crack with Damien Delaney when you're at Hull. We like to start on a good one, don't we?
It's one of my favourite stories.
Has this been mentioned before?
I don't know if it has or not.
I think it got brought up, but I can't remember who you asked, but it slowly got dropped.
Well, the reaction. The reaction, but you tell it, Macca.
So what happened was, from what I remember, Damo had just split up from his missus. So me and little Yatesy, Mark Yates, Damo would go out on a Saturday night. So I was like, right, we're going to get Damo here. So I went to the shop and bought another SIM. And me and Yatesy started texting him. And just small stuff, because obviously he got pissed on a Saturday. He can't remember all the birds he chatted to. So me and him started texting, and me and Yatesy are laughing in the background and that. And we're like, right. You could tell it was a slow fish, a big fish, but slow. And eventually he started biting. And it's like, yeah, I can't remember you, so-and-so. But yeah. So we put the bait out there. We said, do you fancy going for a Chinese? And he...
Had you even sent pictures as well? Had you sent pictures?
No, we didn't send any pictures or anything like that. It was all text. Thank God for that, because otherwise God knows what I would have done. So me and it's like, right, we'll get him to the Chinese and we'll have a bit of a laugh. So we did the text and we're like, right, we'll set him up in Beverley and we'll be sat on the table next to him. And I thought it was all good banter. And lo and behold, we're watching. We're texting him while we're in the Chinese. Where are you? And he's going, I can't see you, where are you? And me and Yatesy are sat there watching Damo walk to and fro in this Chinese. And then it wasn't until, I can't remember how we let him know. I'm not sure whether we let him know on the night or whatever.
I think he saw you, didn't he? I think he saw you.
He
and
saw
just
us.
Stormed out.
But I'm not sure. I can't remember whether he saw us and then stormed out and knew it was us. And then obviously the next day in training, can't remember whether I was injured. Well, probably was, or training. Come back, gone to get in my car, and all 4 tyres are slashed.
Oh,
Damo.
Slashed. Yeah.
not down.
No. Slashed.
Yeah.
Knife through them. So I was like, okay.
But he done your gear as well, hasn't he? All your gear was.
See, I can't remember the gear.
Yeah.
I only remember the car, and that was the most frustrating thing at the time. So
You're not
obviously,
taking it well then.
I didn't take it well. Red mist came over. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I stormed straight into the thing. I was like, knew it was fucking Damo. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? From what I remember. And I think it kicked off from a little bit. And all I remember is Parkinson at the time pulled me in the office. And I said to him, look, I won't be held accountable for what I do if I don't get my money back.
I will not be held accountable for what I do to that man.
Gaffer, you best sort this out. They were Range Rover tyres and all, weren't they? So they were.
They're not cheap, are they?
500 quid a pot.
Yeah. So
Can't put a price on your pride.
I don't remember
though,
the
can
clothes because my gear was shit anyway. So throw that out the window. But yeah, he was like, "Don't do anything stupid in your normal spiel. Keep it okay." And I'm like, "Well, I'm 4 fucking tires down. How the fuck am I getting home?" And if I remember, eventually, I'm not sure whether Damo knows it, but they took it out as wages, and I got the money. But the best thing about it was I needed 4 new tyres anyway.
Just got all new tread.
So on that note, I was like, "Yep, no problem, Damo. Thank you." But,
Did he speak? You know, when you come into training,
nothing. No, ever since that, he never spoke to me.
even after it.
Even after it, yeah.
Spoke to him since?
Nope.
Nah, man, he's got to be better than that shoe.
You see, you've just got to go in, hold your hands up. He's obviously hungry, hasn't he? Because he's not had his tea. He's not had his tea, has he? Because he's going for a Chinese with a bird, right? Just go in, sit down with the lads, have a Chinese, and just say, "Fucking well played, chaps."
It was one of those that you worked together, you just got on, but we did not communicate one single bit. Yeah, and with little Yatesy was sat in the background laughing and going.
Did he speak to Yatesy?
Yes, from what I've seen.
But yes, he couldn't drive, so he got.
But he was involved in the.
Oh yeah, it was all. Well, to be fair, it was my idea. Well, I'll admit that. But yeah, me and him
In the plot.
joint effort.
But it's for quite a few days. This were like the rest of the lads in the changing room knew. We all knew what was going off. So we're coming in like Mako. And it out last night. Yeah, we were messaging last night, and that's it. Well, it was probably a good week
at
and a half.
least a week. Yeah, it was just, like I said, it was a slow burner because he was like he wasn't sure at first, and then we mentioned a couple of things because we knew he'd been out. We knew certain things. Oh, you've been in this bar. Yeah, you gave me your number, so and so. So it was like just reeling him in, and eventually got him. And yeah, he didn't take it well, the poor lad.
Oh God!
He never said a word. Just came in the next day, never said a word about anything. And then Macca got to his car and all 4 tyres are slashed.
So did
It's tonight, man.
In the club, did they check on CCTV to see who it were, or did he admit it, or like?
No, nothing.
They just.
I was just at the time, from what I bloody remember, I was just fuming, and like I said, I wasn't going to be held accountable. It was probably me sticking my chest out, probably handbags at fucking paces. But yeah, no, Parkinson sorted it out, and I was like, as long as I got my money, I'm happy. And I needed, like I said, 4 new tyres, so I was buzzing. And then
done you a favour, then, hasn't he?
Bonus on top of that, not having to talk to Damo was even better.
It was a frosty atmosphere that was it after training. You know, in the canteen and that after training. I think you were injured, weren't you? And Damo were obviously training. So in the canteen after, it was frosty. I was like, we'd all taking piss out of Damo. So you have a nice Chinese last night, Damo. What's the spare ribs like in that Chinese in Beverley? Do you know?
Nothing back.
No, just totally blank. I bet he never said 4 words all morning to any of us.
You've just got it.
So
it would have been funny to see a camera in there. Just see him. You could probably feel him ready to blow.
Premeditated. They'll bring it bread knife.
It sank one in training like that. Fucking hell, Dave, you got a prawn cracker in your fucking left foot or what? He was going fit up, mate. But he never said a word. It was funny, man. It was funny. And yeah, one of the best wind-ups and best reactions I've seen.
It's right up my street, that.
You're in there in the canteen filling your Tupperware up, because you have been brought up, Dean Windass.
Yes, I listened to it. I can safely say my lunchbox did get shat in. But how that lunchbox came about was a little bit different. The missus didn't give me a packed lunch every day. What's the point in giving you a packed lunch every day when you've got a full spread? So what I used to do was bring a little packed lunchbox, take it home, and have it for tea.
Save you cooking.
Save me cooking, exactly. Being efficient.
I've done that many a time.
that day, yeah. The fucking smell in the dressing room.
Were you there? Were you?
Yeah. I'm surprised I never got accused. I think it was only the fact that I was at training that I'd have never got accused of it.
Obviously, I was there with Macca when I went to Hull. Only for a month, maybe. and you were injured with Ashby and Colsey, and I had one night out in Hull, and you three came. And bear in mind, it was like
we're all three of us on crutches.
Yeah, all three of them they've had career-threatening injuries, right? And I just remember must have been in between pubs in the middle of this park, and the physio was out with us, and these three were launching the crutches at the physio, like non-weight bearing. 3 weeks after the op.
If you're going to
Amazonian spears.
Physio, if you're going to have at the club at that time, if you're going to have 3 injured long terms at the same time, these are
you couldn't have asked for a worse.
These are not
trio.
the 3 that you need. I mean, Maltz were quite easy going in that way, which were probably lucky. But he must have had some fucking pain on with them 3. He really must.
No, I look back and I feel for Maltz, to be honest. He must have put up with some shit. But then again, we got on with the work we had to do, and we worked our tits off. But when he said we could let our hair down, well, yeah, we let our hair down.
He joined you, by the looks
and
of
our crutches at the time.
He liked to drink malts, didn't he?
Yes.
Every Saturday morning when we were away, he'd come down next day like that. Fucking hell, malts. What? How many did you have last night? He's like 3 o'clock. Rubbing his
How
eye.
old is he?
Probably 31, 32.
Right, so he's still
a grown man.
He's still of action.
Yeah.
But he could still get out and get out on the town. He's not an old timer.
No.
He was more one of the lads than a physio, wasn't he?
Was Lee McGarry there? He was physio at Hull.
He was the young lad. Yes,
Respect.
He's at Blackburn now.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's at Fleetwood now.
Yeah.
He was at Blackburn.
Used to get bullied galore by.
Did he?
Maltz, yeah.
When you're not a trainee physio, but when you're number 2 physio, you don't get all the shit, don't you? All the shit
from the head.
From
All
the
the
main
shit
man.
jobs.
Yeah.
From the main man.
Go and make sure they're doing that. Go and make sure they're doing that. But that's what it's about, being higher up, innit?
Experience.
Interesting start to the game. Starting in Holland.
Ja, kan ook in Nederland een beetje Nederlands praten.
It's fluent.
I'll have one of them with you.
Yeah, I can speak because it's been so long since I've talked Dutch. I can pretty much understand everything. But went over to Holland a few years ago for a lad that came up the youth through. A lad called Theo Jansen, played for Holland, played Ajax, played all the others. But it was one of those big red book moments, and I was like the surprise. And it wasn't until I went there.
This is your life.
This is your life sort of thing, but in the football world in Holland, and I was the special surprise in the background. So they're in the back room interviewing me, and I'm there.
Were you the speedball when the doors opened and the smoke come out?
And it was all the lads that came from not from the Vitesse professional youth team, but the team that we played for beforehand. And all the lads were there, and obviously I was a special surprise. So I'm in the back, and I'm getting interviewed and that, and they're talking in Dutch. And I'm like, yeah, I can still talk Dutch here, and I can still hold my own, which was wasn't too bad. So it was a bit like riding a bike, and the more words you hear, the easier it is. And then I got brought out, and it was like, oh, not really much noise here. All right, guys. And just went around, shook everyone's hand. Good to see you and that. So it was like a massive build up, and then I've never seen the episode. They must have played music in the background, going everyone cheering and that. But for me, it was like, well, fucking hell. All right, guys.
I've come all this way and nobody's fucking cheering.
Nobody knows who I
The
am.
big reveal. So how did that come about then? Because you went over with your brother. Did you?
So originally, my dad's job took us all around the world. Lived in Singapore, Greece, Saudi Arabia, and my dad's job took us to Holland. Started playing with a local team, and then got scouted by Vitesse Arnhem. Then, lo and behold, my dad gets shot off again, and stayed with Vitesse Arnhem, and they brought us up through the youth system. Hell of a youth system they have in Holland.
So from what age? Sorry.
What age did your dad leave you in?
14.
14.
Was that hard?
For a 14-year-old, at the time, no. Because in my head, I was that naughty guy from a young age. I liked to be inquisitive. I wanted to push people's boundaries. I wanted to check things. So they put us. I wanted. They put us in.
You did say I wanted to shag things then, didn't
No.
you? That's what he said. I wanted to shag things. When I laughed at nobody
I wanted to check things out.
Oh.
You're pushing your boundaries. So not shag
And
things.
shag things.
Well,
I'll stick my dick out.
well.
I genuinely thought you said
On that
shag
note, that's what they used to do in Holland as well. So anyone that was hadn't lost their virginity, they used to try and take you down to the red light district, and they'd throw you in with a prostitute.
Because you're not far from Amsterdam.
No, so we're about an hour from Amsterdam, but every town in Holland has a red light district, and it was Spijkerkwartier, so it was the translation hooker corner, and we used to walk through it. We used to get the bus to training, but we used to stop on the corner, walk through Spijkerkwartier, jump back on the bus and go to training, just do a bit of window shopping. But any of the lads that hadn't lost their virginity used to get thrown in. It's like, right, go and
Off you pop.
Even
your
a
pop.
14-year-old?
No, it was more near 16.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, more near
Near. 16.
16. Because at that time I was still living with a family. And then it was about a year and a half, 2 years. Sort of, I was a bit of a naughty boy back then, and they'd probably say he was becoming a bit of a handful.
Okay.
Because he's gone from a lovable rogue to he's getting a bit fucking much now.
He's
So
window shopping every day.
You start hanging. Well, obviously back then I was doing the football, doing the school, but then you've also got the friends in the neighbourhood. But the friends in the neighbourhood knew you played football. So I started smoking weed and doing certain things, and you go back to house parties, and this was at like 15, 16. So I was like, oh, this is great. So eventually they got tired of me coming home smelling of weed and hash, because that's what you did back then. Lucky enough, there was no drug tests. Well, otherwise I would have been fucked.
How come?
It was probably peer pressure more than anything.
No, how come there was no drug tests? Because we got tested, didn't we?
Don't
In the
ask
youth
me.
teams over here.
All I remember back in Holland, I never remember anyone ever mentioning any drug tests at that age. If I had done, I would have been buggered. Because we used to hang around with the locals, and we used to smoke weed. So go to school, do football, hang out with the group.
So even though it's legal within the country, it's still a no-no within the game over there.
Oh, it's still illegal. An illegal drug's an illegal drug.
Yeah.
But I look back at it and I think, I'm surprised we never got drug tested at young kids. Because that's, to be fair, I'd probably say there was at least 40% of the lads were smoking it.
God, mad that, isn't it?
Was it performance enhancing as well? Were you flying?
Floating.
I was flying the night before training, not during training.
But you were living the dream, really, then, weren't you?
Yeah, well,
15, 16-year-old.
Well, it went even better. So we obviously left. I can't remember how it came about, but they separated me and my brother because he was with me at the time, and they put my brother into the football hotel that they've still got now, and they put me in with another foster family. I'm like, this isn't right. And being the person that I am, I was like, I can't have this. The only way I'm getting out of this is by causing a fuss and creating some trouble. And that's what I did, like a little kid you would. And
So you wanted to get away?
well, no, I wanted to be back with my brother.
Right.
So I from looking back, I remember just doing anything I could to make that family's life miserable. And I apologise.
No need to apologise to
But
me, pal.
I just wanted to be back with my brother, because we've been together all our lives, etc. And lo and behold, eventually enough time came, they put us together, and we started living in a hotel together at 16 on our own. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything waited on. Come home, our room's clean, amazing service. Going to school, going to training, school, training, food. Yeah, what a way to do it. Yeah.
You must
And
have, you both must have been decent players, because I think anybody else that just fucked you off.
I must have had something. It certainly weren't my banter.
So you were just making this life family hell, just to try and get kicked out?
Yes. Yeah. Because have you got siblings?
Yeah.
And to be taken apart from a sibling at that time,
Why they did that?
I think it was to do with the age. It was, to me, I was like, you've just taken my right arm away, and someone to bounce stuff off, something that, and back then I think mobile phones had only came out and they were this fucking size. So it was like, right, I need to get back to my brother. What do I need to do? And the only way I'm getting back to my brother, because he ain't coming to live here, I need to go live there.
Yeah.
I'll just, if they, in my head at the time, I was like, if they want me enough, they'll put me with them, but I need to get rid of this lovely family, but I need to be naughty. And I was.
What, just like breaking curfews,
breaking
messy.
curfews, and just any rule that they set us, I broke. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They didn't have a daughter living there, did they? All?
No, they had a son that was because the way that the Holland system used to work was they used to ask families within the community and within the club if they would like to foster. So not literally foster kids, but foster within the football.
Yeah.
And obviously the club will pay them, etc. And it was a young lad. He played at Ajax. He came all the way up through Ajax. He was a year younger than me. He was a goalkeeper, and Vitesse had just signed him, and obviously moved in with him. And it was okay, but in my head, I was like, I'd rather be with my brother. I know he's nice, and it's a lovely family, and it's great. And that, if anything, it was, I've got thrown completely out of my comfort zone. You've taken my brother away. It's like, right, deal with this. And I'm like, right. But you still get on with the football and you still do that. But in the back of your head, you're like, right, I need to get with my brother because that's where I'm the happiest. And where you're looking back on football and life, etc., where you get the best football is when you're happiest off the pitch as well.
Yeah. So you were born in Glasgow, then brought up, I suppose, in a Dutch culture, and then did you see a massive difference with that when you went to England? Like, was there a massive cultural difference?
No. I'll tell you about when I went to Portugal. That was a massive cultural difference. But when I moved to England, the way that Holland brings you up as a footballer is to be the most confident little shit in the world. So you are better than everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you're not.
Even if you're
They
not.
have that
So
aura,
mentally,
that confidence,
you
the
are
Dutch.
better than everyone. So always remember when I first signed for Cov, was with the first team, 16, playing away with McAllister, and I always remember in Holland, it was about skill as well as the way of reading the game. So the skill that we used to have in Holland was that you used to boast about. It was called panna, and panna means megs.
Right.
So when I first came over to England, I was like, right, who can I meg here? Who can I meg there? And then you're only a 16-year-old lad, and you only know what you've been taught. So I'm there training with the first team, and I'm like, right, who can I meg? So you're playing away, and I always remember this one day. Megged Liam Daish, big Irish centre half. He pulled me afterwards and went, I'll fucking break your legs. I was like, okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, that's a bit different. So that was the first time I got in, and then certain people started slowly integrating you into the English system, and it's like, it's not about showing off, it's not about that, it's about what. Yeah.
So if you'd have met somebody at Arnhem,
Yeah.
what would have been the reaction?
Everyone happy. Yeah.
Even experienced pros.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you've let your guard down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because over here, it doesn't surprise us that he's done that. Because imagine if there's a young
it
kid comes over and he's
It is over here, aye.
yeah.
But over there, it didn't matter what your age was. Well, even if you're mature, you shouldn't let it happen to you. So don't let a youngster get it over on you.
Which is probably the right.
Whereas
way
in
to be.
England, it was like, don't
He's taking-
fucking do. He's taking the piss out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what age did you go to Coventry?
It was when I was 16,
So
16/17, something like that. Yeah.
And was your brother still At Arnhem?
No, so what happened was Vitesse Arnhem offered me a 5-year contract. And at the time, my parents like, 5-year contract, looking at this, I'm like, I'm going to earn more than my economics teacher. This is great. So my dad got an agent on at the time, and he was like, well, rather than signing this, let's see who's back in the UK to be a bit closer to home. So lo and behold, a few teams came over and watched us, and we were playing Ajax at the Toekomst, relates to the future, and we beat them 4-2, and I scored 2 goals. I mean, I was playing in midfield and absolutely ran the show. They're like, they'd never seen my brother play. They're like, right, we're taking you, and if your brother's anywhere near as good as you, we're taking him as well. So they took both of us, took us over, but where Vitesse messed up was they never got us to sign any paperwork, so I was never under contract. So we just went, and then obviously it went to a tribunal, and I couldn't play for a certain amount of time because it was going to court and that, and I think they got a few quid. But yeah, we were Coventry's because we told them we never signed for them. Yeah. That's where they made because normally year on year you sign a new contract. I signed one contract when I was 14. Never ever did I sign another contract.
How much would they get in, do you reckon?
I think they, to be fair, they obviously got a part from every fee that I was part of. So when I got sold to Hull, they got a fee. When I got sold to Blackpool, they got a fee. So they got a little bit, but they. Ideally, I suppose they would have wanted more.
Was Dion and Huckabee there then, when you first went?
Coventry. Yeah. Bloody hell. I was telling you before, my first big memory of Coventry was obviously Liam Daish, but you obviously had Carlton Palmer on. And my first pre-season tour away, who did I get roomed with? Strachan, thank you. Carlton Palmer. So I'm a 17, I think it was 17, 18. We went away to Germany, and I get room with Carlton Palmer. So we fly to Germany, get there, touchdown. I'm like buzzing because I'm like, we're their first team, first time away. And lo and behold, 4:30 turns up, and Carlton gets dragged in by Richard Shaw and Paul Williams in his vest and underwear, absolutely hammered.
Gets dragged in
4 in the morning?
4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh.
And I'm sat on the bed going, okay. And all the lads were coming in, McAllister, and I'm just sat there going, ooh, okay. Just watching it all because I didn't know what to do.
So he gets dragged in, like taking him back to his room.
I was in the room, so he was just sat. No word of a lie. It was literally. So you know how you've got a main room. So this is the mirror. He's there, in his not boxer shorts, white fronts, white vest on like that, and I'm sat behind him on the bed, just thinking. And all these lads have come try to get water in him, like. And I'm just thinking. Right, no wonder I've got a drinking career. Thanks, Carlton.
So they've basically just fetched him back, blind shitting drunk.
Yep.
Getting him back to the room.
But fair play to him. He got up the next morning and literally bin bag under his rain suit and trained away. Yeah, old school.
Yeah, he said that on the thing on here.
Yeah.
He
old school. But you probably wouldn't remember that. I sat there and watched the whole thing thinking, whew, right, so this is what I'm meant to be doing to become a professional footballer.
See Pete's play for England. This is what I should be doing.
So that was your first introduction to
being away with the first team. Yeah.
Did you have to change your attitude a bit? Because I can't imagine Strachan would.
Strachan
accept
Strachan was your old school, typical Scottish manager. You used to be scared to, you'd dip your head out, make sure he wasn't in the corridor, make sure he wasn't there, and then you'd move round to the canteen or to the other dressing room or go upstairs. You'd all look outside to make sure he wasn't there. It was, whether it was little man syndrome, I don't know, but he used to like to belittle people. But it's old school, and that's the way it was. And I
even
used
the
to
older
do it.
lads.
Pardon?
Was he like that with the older lads?
Yeah. So all the lads used to be scared of him as well. They used to peek their heads out, and I was just like, "Wow, what a man!"
What's a man in a good way or a bad way?
In both, to be able to control so much power, as in you're a small man, but you've got a wealth of knowledge, but people are scared of you, literally scared of you.
I can't imagine CP being scared of GS.
He didn't mention him, did he?
No.
But we played with Sean St Ledger at Preston, and he was unbelievable. He was the main man at Preston. Ended up signing for Middlesbrough under Strachan, and he hated it. So I wonder if he was a Serb. He came back.
It's one regime or the other sort of thing. The way that I look at it is, if you can't. So, when I was at Coventry, everyone was Scottish. So whether you were first team, whether you were reserves, whether you were youth team, it was Scottish blood going all the way through, and that was the mentality that was bred through the club. So even our youth team coach, even though I played in the youth team in the youth cup or whatever it was and stuff, but the mentality was the exact same. Drum it. And
William Wallace tackle.
Yes, and I look back and I think, realistically, there's so many players that have failed here that could have made it, but because they couldn't handle that face-to-face criticism straight up to you, they crumbled, and they didn't want the ball. They couldn't handle it. Whereas some people thrive on that. Because I don't know whether I should say it or not. So obviously, I've gone into coaching, and I've sort of taken that little bit of coaching into my business world, and without me even knowing, I did exactly what Strachan did and the other coaches. One of my staff messed up, and he was only a young lad. He was only 19, 20, and I've had a proper fucking go at him. And the poor lad started crying, and I just literally, I was like, what have I just done? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that. And you don't realise how effective it is until you actually see it in the workplace. Whereas the football environment, it's a bubble. You know it's a bubble. And you look after each other, you stick together, and what's said is said. And you
forget about it.
But then the amount of stuff that, if it was to happen in the workplace, what's gone in, and my God, we'd probably all be in jail.
It's recognising the lad's character, though. If that young'un was cheeky and naughty or whatever, he'd have just you'd have bollocked him. He'd have taken on the chin and gone, right, fair enough.
But that's the thing, because I was only starting out at business. I'm only going off what I've been taught coaching-wise, from my peers, exactly. Yeah. And from that, I've learned a massive thing, as in when it comes to staff and coaching kids. You've still got to have that little bit of. Because I remember when I was coaching at the Port Vale under-16s, the kids try and take the piss out of you, and it's like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm here. I'm volunteering. If you don't want to listen to me, I'll see you in a year's time at Tesco's. Ding, ding. How much is that, Mr. Mcphee? That'll be £22.40. Right, see you later, Scott.
Ding, ding, Mr. Mcphee.
But, right, there's obviously a difference there between the Dutch upbringing, where they're just filling you with confidence. Fill you with confidence, build you up that way, rather than... Is there a big difference in what seems to be coming from Strachan is, and that kind of environment is knock you down to make you stronger.
Yeah.
But what you're saying from the Dutch side is to just fill you with that confidence.
Yeah.
Fill you with that confidence.
Completely two different sides, yeah.
Which works best?
Happy medium in the middle, I guess. If you can do both, then great. But from a coach's side, if it was me, it's understanding the player, and because everyone's totally different. If you need someone that needs a fucking bollocking, you give them a bollocking. If you need someone that needs an arm round them, you give them a fucking arm round them. But in my eyes, I like the Dutch way because, okay, you're cocky, you're arrogant, but ultimately you're getting the best out of every player no matter what. Even though they're shit, they still think they're fucking good.
Still deluded.
Yeah, but he's not going to come and say, oh, coach, you're being nasty to me, or you're not playing me. No, he thinks he's God's gift.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hammer someone and they think they're still doing good, and then you don't play. Well, I'm doing everything you say.
You're not playing me. I think in England, I think it was just a blanket, just fucking batter and batter and batter.
Easy option.
But yeah, just batter and batter and batter, and the so-called strong ones will come out in the end. That's what it were. There were no arm round really, no arm round some and all that. It was just a fucking for everybody, weren't it? At 16, 18, that were the.
Was Mcphee in your youth team then?
Yes, yeah.
He's been in touch, funnily enough.
Oh God.
Here we go.
He's not said feed him to the lions.
Ask him when Gordon Strachan made us wash about 10 cars when we were at Coventry as kids because he said we were only passing for each other in a reserve game.
Oh God.
So it's like Mr. Miyagi tackle this.
No, so how me and Sheffers used to play up front together, and we used to annihilate teams because we used to read each other as strikers, and it used to be great. And I can't remember who we played, but we absolutely battered this team. 1-2s round the corners. Can't remember whether we won or not. But the next morning we got in, and Strachan pulled us into the office, just me and him. We're thinking, what is he going to? What's he going to do?
Are we getting a contract here?
What's going on? He absolutely fucking battered us. He said, "Used to last night, absolute bag of shite." Just ripped us to shreds. And then he said, he didn't say your punishment. He said, for that, go and clean my car, go and clean so and so's car. So he sent us out. We didn't train. We had to go clean cars. Yeah, that's that mentality.
Why say you were shite? Did he say that?
Well, the biggest thing that comes to football, and you know that, it comes down to opinions. And I suppose if maybe we might have been a little bit cocky, as in the way that we were, because we knew we absolutely smashed them. We played amazing, but maybe he didn't like the way that we played, and for that, seen his arse or.
Yeah. Was that reverse psychology again that we've talked about, like with Clough? They're getting too big for the boots. These lads, let's knock them down a peg or two.
And we had to we were washing Robbie Keane's car, washing them all, and it was just like fucking hell. Cheers. We're training with them. No, you're not training today, right? You're washing the cars. All right, cheers.
I agree with you, but only if he looked after him and give him a chance. You know, like can do that. But then, say if you put you in the first team next week, you think that he's done that for a reason. But it sounds like he just completely fucked you off, basically.
It was always a difficult one because obviously Sheffers, we played in the FA Youth Cup. I can't remember who we played. I think it was Newcastle. Absolutely battered them. And Sheffers is a year younger than me, and it was Richard Money at the time, and he came up to both of us and he said to Sheffers, "You're with the first team squad tomorrow." I think he was 16. I'd just turned 17. And I was like, okay, I'm sure I was better than Sheffers yesterday. Why ain't going with me? But that's what you play in your head.
Did you ask him that? Or?
No, at the time, fucking hell, me asked that, and fucking hell, I would have got shot down by Sheffers. 17, all right. But Sheffers, and that's where he made his debut, away at Aston Villa in the Prem. And ever since that day, was always played every resi game with the first team every day, travelled every game, on the bench quite a lot. But then Strachan never ever put us on. Never put us on. Even towards the end of the season when we were safe, never put us on. And I've hopefully he's listening to this. I want to know why. Why didn't you put me on? We're not getting relegated. You could have easily put me on, but in my head it's always played out. Why the fuck didn't you put me on?
Yeah.
What have you got to lose?
It's true though, isn't it?
Especially if you're safe and you can't.
What have you got to lose?
You never make an appearance for
not for Cov, no. So that made a massive decision in my next steps, because the next season I was like, right, I'll go out on loan. Went up loan to St Mirren in Scottish Prem.
You were Ronaldinho's replacement.
Yeah, yeah.
What are those?
Ronaldinho. was
Was it
apparently
Scott McGarry? What was his name?
What was his name?
I can't
Tom Hendry.
Tom Henry.
Yeah.
Tom Henry couldn't get Ronaldinho in apparently, so he brought Steve Mcphee in.
Apparently, Tom Hendry knew Ronaldinho, the manager. He knew. Apparently, Ronaldinho's agent was Scottish, and he knew him. And before he went to PSG, he wanted him to do a couple of months on loan somewhere, and he was going to go to St Mirren on loan.
He's got the same SIM card as Flippin. He got delayed. That's a wind up, isn't it?
So then when I turned up and I was ready to do the keep ups in front of the stadium with all the fans, there was no one there. It was like, okay.
Which one's Ronaldinho?
Teeth.
Long hair, teeth.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He went bad, wasn't he?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Well, they couldn't get him, so there's only one man for the job.
No, so I went up there and I got a proper first team experience playing Saturdays.
Had you calmed down by this time, Maka? Were you misbehaving?
You hadn't even met me then.
No,
but what you need to understand is I was a quiet man up until my 18th birthday. I spent at home watching Coronation Street with Mum and Dad. And then it wasn't until I started living on my own, which was after that, that's when it started to, right, I can drink, I can enjoy myself, I can meet the women, I can do the bit of this, bit of that. And I've got, what does my missus call me? I can't think of the word. So if I do something, I've got to go all out.
To the extreme.
Yes. So when it comes to drinking, I'll just go full out until everything I do is to the extreme. Something personality disorder.
Split?
No, not split.
ADHD?
No. It's something to do with extreme. You've got to. There's a word. That's probably the reason I got with the missus, because she studied psychology. She probably wanted to study me.
On that chaise long every night.
That's it. Stephen, just before we go to bed, just lie down.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Watch the finger, not the finger.
What are your thoughts been today, Stephen? Will you put that fucking notepad and pen down, love?
Stop fucking recording me. Yeah.
So you went to St Mirren, Scotland.
Enjoyed it that much, so came back. Coventry offered me a contract, and I was like, well, you're not guaranteeing me first team football, and many of us have done it. I was like, right, I'll drop the leagues, and I signed for Port Vale. Probably the best decision ever made. Enjoyed everything, lived on my own.
Was that
So
with
who's
Nobby?
manager?
It was Nobby, yeah.
Brian Orton.
To be fair, saying that, Nobby's in one of my notes. Let's have a look. Check his. To be fair, he's 5 notes down. Sorry, Nobby. So I just used to love going out. You had the freedom, and like I was saying before, you used to. In my head, the better you are off the pitch, the better you're on the pitch. Didn't have girlfriends. You were just shagging birds, just doing everything. So I used to go out all the time. And I remember it was Northampton away. And I'm sure we were about 4-1 down at half time. And Nobby's come in and he's gone absolutely ballistic at me.
Could be nasty, Brian Orton, couldn't he?
Oh.
Like, he got these eyes.
No, but you probably know him from Hull when he was.
I know at Macclesfield. Macclesfield.
So he was at Macclesfield after.
Yeah.
So I seen Nobby at Port Vale, then I seen him at Hull. 2 different men. Obviously, as you get older, you must get calmer, wiser, or whatever. But when he was at Port Vale, my God, we lost 4-1 at Northampton, and small dressing room at Northampton at that time, and we're all sat round, and he comes in, and you've got the big skip in the middle of the changing room. He's gone absolutely ballistic, and he's gone, and fucking you! And I'm just sat there like, yeah, fucking goes mad. Fucking, and then at the end of whatever he said, he's gone, fucking out all the time, fucking doing this, fucking drinking, fucking. And I'm like, I ain't been out for a week, gaffer. So in my head, I thought a week was good. At that time, I thought a week was good. And he's gone, a fucking week? And booted the fucking...
Metal skate.
He broke his toe. He broke his toe by kicking it. Yeah. And I'm sat there going, But not until I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said, yeah, I haven't been out for a week. A week's probably a little. But to me, it was like, that's good going, Steve.
It's a fucking long old slap we had to wet, innit?
No, but that reminds me of when managers come in at half time. I remember with Strachan one time as well. We were playing, I think it was a friendly, and he's gone ballistic again. Just gone ballistic. And he's got an apple in his hand, and he bites it and fucking launches it off the wall, but the fucking core fucking bounces back and smacks him in the head.
It struck him back in the head.
Yeah. But you know when you're like in school and you start fucking giggling and your mates are giggling, and then you look at each other and you try to hold it in, and I'm like and you get I just remember like it was yesterday, and it's like, don't laugh, Steve, because you'll fucking end up headbutting you.
Just get a quick toilet break. I need a piss,
yeah.
Just checking.
Gaz also told us to ask you about Stag Do or something. Craig Pete Stag Do?
Yes, good memories. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Did your ex-missus glass you?
Does that ring a bell? How do you forget about that?
Okay, so Craig got married in Spain, and 2 days before they got married, the girls went out on a hen do, we went out on a stag do, and we said, whatever we do, don't bump into each other, because
both parties agreed to this.
Both parties agreed to it, because obviously it's a stag do and a hen do. You get up to what you want, we get up to what we want. So we ended up getting into one of the clubs and got in the VIP and bought a table, and you know what it's like. You get bottles and get the girls on board and stuff. And there I am, bird, bit of champagne, chatting away. So it's probably about the size of this square area, all in there. Lo and behold, I see the missus.
Them parties coming.
See the missus, and I'm like, I'm still not doing anything wrong. I'm just chatting to a bird in the VIP area. Next minute, fucking.
You got your arm round her?
Yes. Yeah, but I put my arm around everyone. There's nothing wrong with that. Next thing I knew, there was a fucking glass got launched, and yeah, got smacked in the face. Yeah, so yeah, got cut all down there from the missus, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Obviously gone outside, fucking
threw it. Oh,
well, I'm saying that she was there, so I was more around that side, so it was more of a little bit of a throw. It wasn't a launch across the room. But yeah,
it's a good shot.
A hell of a fucking shot.
I wonder if she could come and play for my cricket team.
To be fair, she was like Hadouken. She had massive arms and just fucking launched it on my head. So I was gushing with fucking blood. So obviously I had to go outside and that and fucking arguing with her. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, oh, you're in the VIP, fucking chatting to birds. Well, it's a nightclub. We're drinking beer and there's women. What do you want it to be? Men and just drinks? So it was... Ended up arguing with her for ages, but I was dripping full of blood, and it was like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, but the biggest, if you think about it, we did agree, don't come to where we've agreed to go, and we won't come to you. So we didn't go to them, but obviously they came to us, and before I knew, all the fucking girls were in there dancing about. I'm fucking stripping, I had to go home.
Did you stay away for much longer?
Well, put it this way, we didn't get married.
I believe there's a story where you were in Callum Davenport while you were at Port Vale. Is that right?
Oh, this is
Coventry, was it?
This is probably one of my first lads' trips away, bar one. So Callum was playing at Cov at the time with Craig Peed, and Callum's dad, his brother, Callum's dad's brother, owns a bar in San Antonio, Texas. So Callum asked us, do we want to go out there for a week? I was like, hell yeah, why not? Let's go single. Let's go for it. So to be fair saying that, I had to be in training for one day, but I told Nobby that I was sick and I was on a plane.
So you're not at Coventry? Or?
I was at Port Vale.
Right.
So I had to tell a little lie saying that I was sick, but I was realistically on a plane on the way to San Antonio, Texas.
We've all done that.
So we got absolutely hammered on the plane. Touchdown in San Antonio. Went straight to Callum's dad's bar and straight on the Jaeger bombs. Absolutely off our tits. Barely remember anything, but it was, you're literally just taking a mickey out of each other, having a piss, just having a great laugh. And from there, I ended up trying to shave. We ended up getting an extension cable lead because PD was the first one to fall because of the drink, fell asleep. So we got put in a car outside. I was like, right, little pussy, what can we do to him? I was like, fucking hell, he's there. So we got the whole bar. I got the whole bar to come out. I said, get an extension lead. Give me. Someone had shears. I don't know where shears turned up from. So I was like, so these got put. We've gone extension lead all the way through. The big crowd outside, all surrounding this car, and there I am with these shears trying to get PD. He's like, fuck off, and, like twinching. And we eventually get a bit of his hair. And then from there, somehow he fucking regained his consciousness, and we kept going. So we left our bags there. And we ended up in some Hispanic house in the middle of downtown. I don't know how, I don't know where, but it was like proper, like you see off the movies, like one of those proper house parties. When you feel out of place, three little white boys, and it's like, yeah, we maybe shouldn't be here. So then the next thing we know is we're saying to each other, it's like, right, does anyone know where the bar is? No. Does anyone know where we're staying? No. Has anyone got a phone? No. So we eventually got a taxi. And lucky enough, this taxi driver was the nicest person on the world. He took us back to his home. He let us shower at his house. Obviously, we were giving him a few quid in that. He must have been happy. But he let us shower at his house. He took us in. He was so friendly. And then from there, we're like, right, how do we get back on track? So eventually got back to the hotel room and stuff. This was following night, but we'd still kept drinking, hammered, and his dad was there. But his dad loved poking and testing you. So we ended up going out, and we went to another bar, kept drinking. PD fell. Again, shock. Callum fell in the car, shock. And me and his dad are just fucking Jaeger bombs away, drinks, boom, boom, boom. So we get back in the car, fucking driving. It's like, I guess it's what they do. So sat in the car.
Driving?
Callum's dad.
Even though he's pissed?
Yeah. No, I'm trying to remember now. No, Callum's dad's uncle, I think, was driving, something along those lines. But it wasn't driving at the time. We're sat in the car park still. That's what it was. So he sat there. I'm sat here. Callum's in the back. PD's in the back. And I'm sat there going, I'm going to be sick. And he's like, don't you fucking dare be sick in here. And I'm like, I'm going to be sick. I'm trying to fucking get the door open. Couldn't get the door open. Ended up being sick all over the car. But it was all liquid because there wasn't much food, so it wasn't bad. Next minute, I get picked out of the car by his dad. His dad's like, Callum's a big lad. His dad's double the size of you, but as big as, picks us up, goes outside, puts me up against the car like that, and just start fucking headbutting me. I'm up against the car like this, boom, boom, boom. And somehow, PD and Callum didn't wait. PD woke up and fucking went ballistic at him and got him off me. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, he fucking started headbutting me because I was fucking sick in the car. And I was like, I can't be dealing with this, Pete. I can't be dealing with this. So eventually Cal woke. It's no, Cal had already somehow been driven back to, in all the stuff that had been going on, it's somehow been driven back to the hotel room. So me and Peds were like, fuck this, I ain't getting in the car with this cunt. Excuse my French. But so me and Peds just started walking into the wilderness. No lights, no nothing. And we're like, fucking hell, what we're going to do? So just fucking keep walking. We'll eventually find somewhere. We just kept walking. And then fucking cars going past and we're going, oh, it'll be him. He'll come and get us in a second. We're like, well, if he comes and gets us, we'll fucking get him. And it was like, oh my God. And eventually a car pulls up beside us. It's like, get in the car. We're like, we're not getting in the car. You just fucking headbutted the fucking max out of me. And it was like, eventually we talked it, got in the car, went back to the hotel room. That's when we woke Callum up. And obviously Callum heard what had happened. And Callum went ballistic. So Callum started going off at his dad. So Callum started throwing punches at his dad. His dad started throwing punches here. This hotel room was like a motel, not a hotel. Blood everywhere. We're going, what the fuck? We've only been here a day and a half. We're here for a week. So I was like, fuck this shit. Pete said, fuck this shit. Cal said, fuck this shit. We got our bags. We took his car keys. Because how it's rewinding a tiny bit. His dad was being a bit of an arse, as in putting his fingers up his bum and going, oh, smell that, smell that, smell that. And it was like, fucking hell, what you doing? How old are you? And so we were like,
that Texas banter in it. So
we were like, right, get all our fucking stuff together. We robbed his car keys. We were pissed. We didn't give a shit. If we get pulled, deport us, because we need to get out of this country anyway. So we took the car keys straight to the airport. Said, fuck, just parked his car up, put the keys under the fucking tyre. If you want to find it, don't give a shit. Straight in the airport, right. And we sat there, 3 of us, what do? We've still got 6 days to go. And we're like, right, should we go Cancun? Should we go here? Should we go there? And we were like, we all debated. We ended up deciding, right, the cheapest option possibly is just to go home and fucking bring ourselves back together. So we ended up doing that. And it was like, fucking hell. So then, obviously, we robbed the car there, got on the plane, got home, we took his car keys to get his car there, drove home, fucked that car off and went and said, wow, what a fucking experience that was, never again. And then you look back and you think, whew, was that a dream?
So you're only there for 2.5, 3 days?
Yeah. We're meant to be there for a week.
It's a long way to go for a night out.
Yes, it was, but fucking hell, getting headbutted like that, you remember almost everything.
Have you heard from him since?
I've talked to Carl a couple of times, never heard from his dad.
I can imagine. Do they get on still, him and his dad?
It's a very feisty family, that's all I can say.
Because he got stabbed, didn't he?
Yeah, he got stabbed by his sister's boyfriend, yeah. If I remember correctly.
He was still playing. Was it West Ham then or something?
When he got stabbed? It was either West Ham or Tottenham, I can't remember. But yeah. Let's just cut it there.
Do you enjoy it at Port Vale then?
Port Vale was a great time. I loved life off the pitch, loved life on the pitch. Yeah, couldn't argue with it, to be honest with you.
Banging the goals in now. 27 goals in 2003.
Well, probably a bit like you. I always remember one time when we were at Hull and I was sat next to Murph and he's gone, doesn't that big guy eat a fucking lot? And I was like, yeah, he does. But I suppose he does eat a lot. He's a big guy. But at Port Vale, I used to, the second year, used to drive up every day from Leamington Spa because I had a house down there. My pre-match meal was a Burger King and a Coke. It's probably why I had a bad season.
I'm all for that.
But my best season, I was out almost every fucking night, every single time. Lo and behold, I was banging in the goals, and at the time, Nobby, he said, as long as you're banging in the goals, the same with Martin Foyle at the time, he said, as long as you're banging the goals, I'm not going to say anything to you. The minute that you stop banging the goals, then I'll come down on you like a ton of bricks. Because I always remember one night, went out, we'd played on the Saturday, won, and he said, game Tuesday, please don't go out, lads. Ding ding. Let's go out. On
the Saturday night or the Sunday?
Don't go out on the Saturday night. So I went out, shock. Went out, got absolutely hammered in Hanley. Don't know if you've ever been in Hanley.
Yeah.
It's not the... put it this way, it's a pretty rough town. And got hammered. No problem. I went out with my uncle that night and lost my uncle. And there's... do you remember Liquid?
Yeah,
so there's a big club up on the left, and there's a big long road all the way down to the roundabout. I thought, I ain't fucking queuing in this this to get a taxi. I'll go down to the bloody roundabout. So I've started walking down to the roundabout, and all I heard was, "Oi, Mcphee!" And as I've turned round, boom, clocked straight to the floor.
Out cold?
Well, not cold, because I remember them booting my head in. So there was about 3-4 of them absolutely just stomping on me, kicking
Stoke
me.
fans?
Yeah, Stoke fans. Absolute batting the shit out of me. Got up, eventually got home, nose over, face over, absolutely battered. Got back to the house. I was like, for fuck's sake. First thing in my head was, Foyley's going to be fucking fuming. Not about my fucking face and body. I'm like, he's going to be fuming of being out. So obviously Sunday morning came, because we were meant to be in training, and rang him up and told him the story. And he's like, right, stay away from the training ground as much as possible so no one can fucking see all the damage. I'm like, what about the police and all that? Let's get them involved. But at the time, Port Vale were like, no, let's just keep it low, keep it under wraps. When it played on the Tuesday, nothing ever happened of it. But ultimately, looking back, realistically, we should have got the police involved. I got absolutely battered by about 3-4 Stoke fans just for being who I was. Yeah.
Just for playing for Port Vale.
It is a big rivalry, man.
Yeah.
It is a really big rivalry.
Well, saying that, went on another night out, and I'm not sure if you've seen pictures of my brother. He looks the exact same as me. Went out one night after I'd been away, left Port Vale. I was at Portugal in Beira-Mar. Came back for a weekend, gone out. Same thing again. Some Stoke fan glassed my brother, thinking it was me. My brother slit all down there.
Didn't realise it was that bad. Like,
Yeah.
Tom Pope spoke about it. 'Cause Pope is a big Port Vale fan.
Massive rivalry.
You never get to thinking, I'm maybe better off.
Well, put it this way: have I been back to Stoke since? No.
You did well though in them few years at Port Vale, player at season.
Yeah, it was one of the best seasons I had.
27 goals in that second season.
How I didn't win Golden Boot, I don't know. I think it was little Righty that beat me. I'm not sure how.
Ian or?
I can't remember his name. What's the little lad that was at Brighton? He was on the show.
Leon Knight.
Leon.
Oh, Leon. Oh.
Yeah. Little Leon beat me that year. I think it must have been because he had more league goals.
Yeah, top shot.
But he also,
that year,
I think he scored about 11 pens. I didn't score any pens because didn't take them, but mine were all open play. Sorry, Leon.
Don't worry about it, mate. He does not listen. He certainly does not listen.
Will you move? Talk, you going to Wigan or Leeds as well?
So Wigan was pretty much a done deal.
Was that just before they went to the Prem as well?
Yes. So I got a phone call off Brian Horton. He said, Wigan want to buy you. Like, great. Talked to my agent, right? Went over to Wigan with my agent, sat down with Jewel, discussed the whole deal, pretty much signed everything off. Left thinking I was going to go train at Wigan the next day, and then I got a phone call. The chairman's pulled the plug.
At your end?
No, at their end.
Right.
And he's gone, no, you can't have this. I'm like, well, what the fuck was the point of them fucking me coming over and agreeing a deal? I thought the whole point of coming over was to sign a deal, done, let's go. But he wasn't happy with quite a few things, whether he didn't get sex the night before or whatever, I don't know. But he had a bee in his bonnet, or whatever the saying is. And
it wouldn't have been Dave Whelan, would it?
It will
yes,
have been, nice.
It was Dave Whelan.
The oldest one, yeah.
He pulled the plug. And he said, well, we can go ahead, but this is the deal. And I'm like, well, I've just wasted a whole fucking day down doing a medical, doing this, actually negotiating a deal, sat there, because we thought it will all be done in a day. And, he pulled the plug, and I said, well, no, what they want, no, fuck them. We're not doing that, sign it. I thought, we're going down, this is a deal. I'm a Wigan player tomorrow. That evening, got a phone call.
Were Wigan at the time?
They were about to be promoted to the Championship.
Right.
Yeah, so they're in the same league as Port Vale. They're about to get promoted. They just signed Jimmy Bullard. And I was like, oh, great, yeah. I double wages, do this, great. And then he pulled loads of stuff, and I was like, well, fucking hell, I'm not sure that's how negotiations are meant to work.
Did he alter your weekly wage, or was it just other stuff, sign-on fees?
Everything.
So he reduced your wage as well?
Everything in there, and I was just like, well, what was the point in coming over? Could you have not done that over the fucking phone? I could have spent a whole day watching Netflix. Well, I didn't have Netflix back then. But you know what I mean? I could have done something better with
so
my
straight
day.
away, you've got your back up with you.
I seen my ass, and I was like, what's the point of that? Well, if a club wants you, they want you, and you agree a deal, and it's there, and then for someone to just come and say, well, I couldn't understand, why are you negotiating a contract when someone that makes the decision isn't even in on the talk?
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
So they've done the negotiations, and then he's seen it afterwards and said, no,
seen it that evening.
Not happy with that.
And I was just like, well, no. And my agent's like, yeah, bugger it. See you later.
Did they go and sign somebody else, by any chance?
I can't remember, to be honest. I literally turned myself off, and to be fair, I didn't have the best seasons from there, and they blamed it all on that because my mind was all over the place and all this. And it wasn't. I just had a bad season. You have bad seasons.
Yeah.
Sounds
then
like
I went on the next season and had an absolute worldie.
Player of the season, 27 goals.
Yeah. And then I ran out of contract, and I was on a Bosman.
Did they offer you another contract?
They offered me another contract. Yeah. The sad thing about it was Leeds came in, and I think they offered 100 grand at the time, which was a piss take because I was top scorer in the league, absolutely battering, absolutely thriving. And
only a year left, though, is that?
No, I was out of contract.
Right.
Completely out. In European terms, Bosman's 23, in England's 24. So I can go anywhere in Europe free. But the thing Port Vale was like, from what I remember, they were like, right, he won't go to Europe. And I was like, I'll fucking go anywhere if you want to give me the money. So me and my agent tried to get them, because I would have happily stayed in UK. It's like, take fucking Leeds offer. It was 100 grand, take it. I'm happy with the wages, happy blah, 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 blah. They're like, no, they thought they could get more. I said, well, you're going to end up with nothing. And lo and behold, they did. I went to Portugal on a free.
So, let me get this right. So, if you'd have moved anywhere in the UK, then they would have had to pay a fee. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, so from what I remember correctly, how the Bosman works, in Europe, a Bosman works when you're 23, so you can move freely when you're 23. In the UK, a Bosman works when you're 24, so you can't move freely until you're 24. I don't know how that is or why that is.
So I've gone to like a tribunal type thing. If you're a signed somewhere, then Leeds could have got stung for 400 grand.
Yeah. And
what the tribunal would decide.
So quite right, nobody really expects anybody to go from Port Vale to
Portugal.
Europe.
Do they?
Well, maybe if we can Magaluf, but not signing a contract for someone.
Well, us at the time, we were trying to tell Port Vale, please, because I did love the club and I still do. I wanted them to get something out of it. I said, just take the 100 grand off Leeds. I'll be happy, you'll be happy. But they didn't see that, and then they ended up having a massive rift with my agent at the time. Ended up going to Portugal.
I've got a quote here from your agent,
Jonathan Barnett.
Yeah, is he a bit of a character?
Well, he's Bale's agent now, isn't he?
Is he? Because he says Port Vale are a 2-bit operation and we are a major company. Their concerns, they can stick up their ass.
Well, when you're working with Bale and Mcphee, hey, what can I say?
We're a major company.
I do hold myself high.
He's from Holland.
That joke bringing, you say.
He's from Holland. So, Portugal. To be fair though, I mean, for me, going to Portugal, it'd be a lot
holiday,
different.
all inclusive.
But I mean, what you were saying is you move around the world anyway, so it maybe weren't as a daunting a thing for you.
Yes,
as what it would have been for fucking Barry Barnsley here.
Before that, I'd never lived anywhere longer than 3 years, whether it was in the country or out of the country. Every 3 years, moved. So to go into Portugal,
second nature.
didn't even. To me, it was nothing. Whereas the ex-missus, to move from Hull to Manchester was like the world was ending. I'm like, why are you crying? but to everyone it's totally different. For me, it was nature. It was like, no problem, go over there. I even took my, I said to my mate, I said to him, look, they're paying for absolutely everything. How would you, he was a chef. I know what I'm doing. I said to him, do you want to come live with me? I said, we'll live half of the year on the beach, half of the year in town when it gets a bit colder. All you need is spends. I'll sort everything else out, accommodation, And he said, yeah. So I moved across, flew across, and he drove my car over with a few belongings and that, and moved across.
So, Beverly Hillbillies. Just load the car up and off we go.
It was an A4 convertible, hairdresser car. Don't forget my scissors.
So did he get a job out there then?
No. He just I said just bring spends, because when I was out there, I realised how cheap it was. We weren't in Porto, we weren't in Lisbon. We were in a town in between that was very old school, didn't get many tourists, so everything was cheap as pants. And he came over and he stayed for 6 months, and then he went because he decided he wanted to go back to his family, etc. I said, I don't blame you, but I've had a great 6 months. And I just lived the other 6 months in the town centre.
Enjoy it?
It was an experience.
Culture shock?
Yes, massive culture shock. Going from, like you were saying before, playing in Holland to obviously playing in England. And then this was another complete change to the amount they trained. So in England, you trained Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, played Saturday. You might have a double session on a Tuesday. That was pretty much standard. Got to Portugal, it was double sessions every fucking day. But it wasn't double session 10:30, 1:30. It was double session 10:30, 4:30. So I now know why they have a siesta. And I couldn't get my head around it, and it was hard for me because I was like, this is a fucking proper job. Because you're getting up in the morning, you're going to work, and then you can't do what you want. You have to think, because you have to train again.
Yeah. Did the lads used to go home, or did the lads just stay around the club all the day?
So how it used to work, depending on how, so obviously if you were from Barnsley, you used to just hang around someone else's house or whatever, if you're about an hour away, or if you're close, then you just went home, had a siesta, had your lunch, came back to training. And it took so long for me to get my head round, and you were doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even sometimes on a Friday you'd train in the morning and then just do set plays in the afternoon. I'm like, mentally, to me I was just like, whew, mentally this is, physically I can handle it, but mentally I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
You never got a day off in the week?
Sometimes they brought us in Saturday, Sunday, and the lads just used to smile and get on with it because that's all they knew. Yeah. And I was just like, okay. So whenever I got a chance, I used to try and go for a beer. But over in Portugal, they've got 3 papers just dedicated to football. So like we've got the Sun, the Star, so and so, the Sun, the Star, Daily Mail, for example. That is just dedicated to football alone. So you had the Record, something else, and something else. So I used to go out for a drink, and then I'd get a phone call from the chairman going, oh, you've been in town again. I'm like, in town again? I've gone out to play some pool, and I've had 2 beers. Oh, that's not what we've heard. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. So mentally,
on you all the time.
Oh, I used to get pulled in all the time, and I'm just like, I'm training fucking 24/7. I can't go for a beer. What can I do? And it was like boom, boom, boom. But when we did let loose, we did have a few good laughs because Paul Murray was over there at the time. Old QPR, Oldham midfielder. Carlisle, yes. And we got each other through it. But if you
that must have been a massive help, having an English lad there.
Well, the thing was, it was Mick Wadsworth that took me over. So he was like, come over, see the place. And he sold it like a fucking timeshare. I was like, yeah, great.
Beautiful views. Come on.
No, but I did
the
this.
first 2 weeks in August.
No, but I did this. I took my mate over with me. I was like, I sold it to him like a fucking timeshare. That's why he came.
Bring your trunk, son. Don't worry about
He
it.
said, look, I was like, we'll be down the beach, look at the women, yeah, we'll be all right. He got sacked after 4 games. So
we're coming after.
So
The
we-
Portuguese manager come in.
So we went through 6 managers in a year. 6. So we started off with Mick. He did all the pre-season, and then in 4 games, if I remember correctly, we won 2, drew 1 and lost 1 and got sacked. And I was like, okay, I could still live with this, because it was Mick's way, and I was like, I was still, what's the best way of putting it? I was still believing in him and his ways of doing things, etc.
Did he have that training regime? The Portuguese training regime,
got
being an
bullied.
English manager.
Bullied.
So
Whether he got
going the
bullied or
Portuguese
whether
way.
that was in his contract, he had to do it the Portuguese way.
Right.
Yeah. And the Portuguese way is the Portuguese way.
Yeah.
Were they in the top league?
Yeah. So our first game was against Benfica at Beira-Mar. So I was like, yeah, great, playing Benfica. So we're playing at home. One of our stadiums was one of the ones that was used in the Euros. So they built it up at 35,000 seat stadium, absolutely beautiful, amazing. So you think as you're walking out, Beira-Mar supporters, Benfica, walk out, Benfica. Beira-Mar. Yeah, it was like playing an away game, because Beira-Mar's home support, I can't remember what it was, but in Portugal, Benfica's the biggest supported club. Then
Across the country.
across the country, full stop. Then between Porto and Lisbon, but the whole place was red. And I was like, am I playing at home here or away?
So you must have gone down there and seen the stadium and thought, oh, there it is.
As you do, yeah.
It was, timeshare.
What about on a normal game? How many would they get?
So at home games, we probably got about 10 to 15.
So we're pretty much
In a 35.
40%.
If that. But I won't knock it. To be fair, it was amazing playing away at Porto, playing away at Benfica, playing away at all these great places. But it was all culture shock. So you always stayed in a hotel, home game or away game, regardless.
So did you only sign a year then?
No, I signed 3 year.
Right.
But we got relegated after 1 year, and I'd had an okay season, scored a few goals and that, and then got told Benfica were interested, a couple are interested. And I said to my agent, I said, ideally I wouldn't mind going back home, because if I can get home, then I'd rather go home. And it was, because it was such a culture shock, and it was intense, as in getting pulled in all the time in the media, and
Get some good money for the timeshare of it.
I'd rather play low key, and you don't know me. I can have a few drinks, eat what I want, do what I want, play football.
Not be in the paper every fucking Monday morning.
That's it. And then it was Peter Taylor came in for us. He said, well, Hull want to buy you. They've just been promoted to the Championship. I was like, well, yeah, I'm up for that, because I was going to go to Leeds, etc. And I was eventually negotiated a deal. I was like, right, yeah, Benfica, Hull, and I was like, just leave Benfica. I don't even want to go there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like,
Would that happen, do you think?
From what they were talking, but the way that the environment that I was in, I was like, I just want to go home, sort of thing. So yeah, I'd rather go back to Hull.
Hull, Benfica.
Funny enough, they weren't my 2 options when I went. When I went to Hull, they weren't my 2 options.
Yeah, it was. It's not until we look back now, but then it was looking back, and it was on the table, sort of thing. And I was like, no, don't even pursue it. Hull, yeah, just get me the best deal at Hull. And we negotiated for a while. It's like, yeah, do it, let's go. And what happened was, towards the end, Portugal was weird, because I can't remember whether I signed 2 contracts, but we used to get paid. We got paid half by cheque and half in your bank. So God knows what that is. Whether that puts me in shit, I don't know. But yeah, but it was all tax free.
Portuguese
I literally tripled my money from Port Vale when I was like, so it's to all the Port Vale fans, like, why could you do this? Why did you? Well, if you got offered a job that's going to triple your wages net, not gross, net, would you do it? Of course you're going to do it.
Yeah. So you tripled it over, just
Tripled it net.
I'd have gone Portugal for some triples, I think. And for some triples,
And I won't lie to you, the women weren't bad, the food weren't bad, and Super Bock was hell cheap.
Yet you came back to Hull.
Yes, because I hadn't heard about Hull.
Mate, what are you doing?
I can't get my head round it, I'll be honest.
I obviously hadn't been told about Hull, I hadn't been told about Portugal.
There's no timeshares in Hull, mate.
Of course there is.
I heard John Parkin was going to join soon.
Although you did say at the time, it's I got a quote, it's not about the money, it's about bettering yourself.
Yes.
You said it at the time, so...
Yeah, so I went to Hull because I wanted to challenge myself in the championship. Portugal is... The league in Portugal was a bit like Scottish. You got your top three and then the rest filters down. Scotland, you had just Rangers, Celtic for all those years and then the rest filtered down. But I was like, well, I haven't seen myself in the championship. I want to try it. Let's go for it. Let's push myself and see where it can take me.
So a culture shock then when you got to Hull? Or, well, obviously you've been back, but still a culture shock from...
I wouldn't lie to you, it felt like being at home again. Back into the daily routine. Monday training, Tuesday training, maybe a double session. Off Wednesday, train Thursday, train Friday, game Saturday.
Peter Taylor?
Yeah. I won't lie to you, Hull was one of the best clubs in a different way for me because I played 3 games. I tore my hamstring, and then when I was coming back from my hamstring, I started getting knee pains, and that's when Maltz and went to see the surgeon. Realised I had I needed microfracture, and fair play to Adam Pearson at the time. Adam Pearson, he texted me while I was in the hospital bed, and he said, "I know you've signed for 2 and 1. Well, we're going to give you another year." While I was on the hospital bed. Just to
Yeah, that's the chairman.
And I was
Reassure
like,
yourself.
yeah.
He's good as gold, man.
Brilliant one.
And to me, that was like, fucking hell. It was amazing. Whereas if you turn that round to Blackpool, you would have said, is there any way you can cut this guy off straight away?
Yeah.
A microfracture back then is probably you're looking at 9 to 12 months minimum.
Yeah.
It were a fucking big thing. I mean, it's probably 9 months at best now, isn't it? It's a proper big...
So that's good to know you've got the support of the club.
No, it was amazing. And then, because I always remember Si Maltz, I went in and you automatically go in for keyhole, and you agree to something beforehand. If it's something that needs fixed, do you want it doing straight away, or do you want to discuss it first and then go back in? I was like, if it needs fix it straight away. And then I remember waking up to, I remember before I got hand, Maltz was there, and he was like, "Are you scared of anything?" I'm like, "No, I trust you more than anyone. I've been in your hands. You're the professional. I trust you." That's why I probably got on with Maltz, because trusting someone with what's going on, because you're going under.
Career.
You're literally going under. Do you know whether you're going to wake up again? Do you know you're going to be right again? And I trusted him, and he said, "Yeah."
So who's there at Hull while you're there?
While I played, John Parkin.
I came in after.
Keith Andrews. Yeah. Keith Andrews signed. Mark Lynch. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Boaz,
Damo, Barmby.
Alan Rodgers?
No, he just left.
There was a few strange relationships. I remember that.
Dawson.
There was 2 didn't speak. Was it Barnes and Ash?
Barnes and Ash. When I was there, Barnes and Ash got on with each other, but I think they had a bit of a do.
No, they had a do. Yes.
I don't know what it were about, but they got on really well when I was there to start with. I think it was after I'd left that they had a bit of a do.
Yeah, that's the thing when you're in foot. There's always little things that go on. But ultimately, it's a job, and you just get on with it. You get that well paid. You just get on with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether if you're working in a smaller environment and you're getting a lot less paid, whether you would put up with it.
Yeah.
Someone slashing your tyres.
No, that's the thing. It's always.
I don't know what HR would say about that. Is that up for sackable offence?
I think you're getting your P45 for that one. In most jobs, you're getting your P45. The fact that you're fetching a knife to work, that's probably the first stumbling block.
So how long were it after Phil Brown come in that you were there for full season?
To be fair, everyone asked me who's the best manager I've played under, and it was probably Phil Brown because it was
music in my ears.
No, but the reason I say that is because it was most enjoyable for me. Yes, he was Charlie Big Bollocks, and yes, he was a big time Charlie. But for me, coming through my injury and him giving me that confidence again and playing again and doing it all, and his training sessions for me I enjoyed it. That's why I always say football's about opinions. You hated it. Other managers I fucking hate, but it's all down to opinion. But to me, as a manager, I really enjoyed working with a man.
Take you back to your Dutch roots. Full of confidence.
Full of confidence and enjoyment. Yeah, you didn't have a care in the world. Yeah,
I can see that with him. I
didn't have a care in the world. He brought it out in you, and it's like, just get on with football. Who gives a shit if you had a bad touch? Who gives a shit? Whereas Nobby was the complete, fucking do it again. Fucking do it again. Fucking do it again. Right, I've tried. No, fucking do it again. Right, it's that other mentality. Whereas it's like, just get on with it. Who gives it? It's a bad touch. Fuck it, get on with it.
One thing I've realised, if we want to keep him quiet, just bring up Phil Brown.
He goes in himself, doesn't he?
You can see him like
retreats.
Change the subject.
So just to put it into context, the time frame. So Macca signed in the summer.
Yeah.
Got injured after 4 games with his hamstring. Then he's obviously had to go in for his knee doing, and I signed that January. So I probably only played with you half a dozen times, maybe.
If that, yeah.
Yeah. So when I was sort of coming to the end of my stay at Hull, Macca was just getting back in the team and been in and around it, sort of thing. So, as soon as you mentioned that name, I might as well fucking get off.
Lights are on, but no one's on.
Let me know. I want to go and set this room up for this bar. Let me know how it is.
But there was a lot of big characters in that changing room. Keith, Barnes,
Well, Keith got injured as well when me and Keith used to go to. Oh fucking hell! This brings another story up. So me and Keith lived in Beverley, I lived in Beverley, and there was a little local, I can't remember the name. So me and Keith used to always go for a few pints, and I remember being in there one day, and I'm on my crutches. I think Keith was playing at the time, and when you have those locals that have been there for ages and ages, and obviously a guy had had a few drinks and starts chucking out a few comments. So I was like, Keith was like, just leave it. Only a small pub, smaller than it, probably about this size, and then toilets are in the back. I'm on crutches. And I'm like, and he was throwing out, you shouldn't be in here, you shouldn't be drinking, you shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, well, realistically, I can do what I want, when I want, and I'm allowed to drink. I'm not breaking contracts, I'm not doing anything. So watching the football, it was a Sunday, and we're drinking away. And then I'm in the going to the toilets, and the guy's he's there and he's pissing away, and I'm in the cubicle because I'm on my crutches. So this guy started mouthing at me, and I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, what's going on here? Start mouthing away, and I'm like, he's about 65. 70, I can't say 70 because that looks a bit bad after what I'm about to say.
He was an older man.
Yes, he was an older man.
gentleman.
And he starts mouthing away, so I'm on my crutches, finish peeing, I'm like, stretch round. And I'm like, what are you going to do about it? Next minute, fucking guy flies at me on my crutches. So my natural instinct is put my fucking hand up, and I'm like, right, which leg? I'm a weight bearing. So I'm putting my one leg down, I'm like, can't put weight on there. So my fucking fingers go in his mouth. No word of a lie. You still see the scars.
What did he go down? Not down?
He bit my fingers off. So my fingers are in his mouth, and he's trying to bite these fuckers off. And I'm like, crutch here, there, in the toilet cubicle, can't fucking move. What? Boom! Knocked him out, nose over the place, on the floor. Hobbled out. I said, I do apologise about that, but he's been a bit naughty today. He said, yeah, we're going to kick him out.
Fuck me, man.
So you've basically been twatting him with your grudge?
Yeah, no, with my fist. I'm trying. Yeah, the scars are there. Horrible. But literally all the way through, like. I'm like, I'm on crutches. It's like.
So was it football related that you were having a go at you?
He just didn't like. I think he was a whole supporter. He didn't like the fact that I was in the pub drinking and enjoying myself. I'm like, well, what else do you want me to do? Sit in my room and fucking paint walls? It's like,
you're
come
injured
on.
as well, aren't you? It's not like
the people don't understand how hard it is to be injured. It's like, yeah, I signed a contract. Do you want me to be injured for 4 years? No, I don't. I want to be out there playing. And what fans don't realise at times is you actually work double, if not triple, as hard than the other players just to try get back fit. So when you get people like that saying, oh, you shouldn't be in here, you shouldn't be doing that. No, you're allowed to let your hair down, but fucking getting abused off people like that, fuck yourself.
Especially when they're biting your fingers as well. It just like me no, with ashes in it. Jesus, it's a bit off.
No, but I was just like oh, I totally forgot about that until it just popped into your brain.
I suppose that time at Hull's kind of the start of you kind of go through a long period of injuries then, don't you? Like you say, it's hard being injured.
Well, I was out for a long time and then eventually got back in under Brownie, and we
twitching again.
We struggled.
Don't say it.
Was it when he brought Ray Parler in?
Yeah,
Is that where we were near the bottom and we just survived?
Yeah.
So we brought Ray in. We just survived. I think I played a few games towards the end if I was lucky.
Well, we're at it then.
When,
I've been to Stoke.
When was the game where I played against Cardiff? Oh no, it was my first game back against Cardiff where Phil Brown brought me back in and I dinked it and hit the fucking bar, didn't I?
Dinked the pen?
Dinked the pen and hit the fucking bar. Oh, can you imagine Ash's face?
Oh, I bet he nearly fucking twatted you and all.
Yes, the change room wasn't nice after one. Good thing we won 4-1. But yeah, because Fags wanted to take the penalty time. I said, fuck off, Fags. It's my first game back. Give it to you. Ran up, dinked it, hit the fucking bar. Tried to do an Agita and realised I can't touch the ball in the middle of the air. I looked like a spastic. Excuse my French. But I was like, oh my God, this is weird. And then, yeah, we won 4-1.
So I'd have been at it then. So I'd been to Stoke by then on loan and then got called back and that's when I had the big do with him.
Him.
I can't say his,
Thou shall not speak his name.
I can't say his name. And then I left that summer.
Yeah, and then I played most of the start. To be fair, this is another thing that I hate about football. It all comes down to fucking wisdom. And you learn from your year's experience. So I played 25 games up until Christmas. The season we got promoted at Hull. Got bought by Blackpool. And then it was a few years ago, I was like, fucking hell, I need to look at my contracts here because it's what you do in business. So I'm like, let me see if there's any T's and C's in here that I can get some fucking bonus out of this. I played 25 games. There might be something in there. No, if you leave the club, what's the word? Relinquish all your bonuses. So I'm like, well, if my son ever did, then I'm going to put this in his contract and I'm going to do that. I was like, well, went to lost that bonus at Hull, played 25 games, more than most of them, and they split the bonus. Then went to Blackpool, got promoted at fucking Blackpool, and it was pro fucking rata. I ain't played a fucking second. I was like, fucking hell, was someone looking down on me here? I was like, any danger?
You needed fucking Gareth Bale's agent back then, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did you find it at Blackpool?
Went Blackpool, loved it. First 6 months, great, and then pre-season got injured again. And it was my knees. So it was
the same. Was it still the microfracture? Obviously, it never gets better.
No,
it doesn't heal, does it?
I did my medial, then I had a ruptured my cruciate, and then I partially ruptured my cruciate, and then the worst thing about it was the surgeon said you got 2 ways to do it. We can fix it, do a full recover, or like the physio says, build your muscles up and you'll be great. So I went and built all my muscles up, absolute tree trunks, the strongest my legs have ever been. Played a resi game away at Man City. Got the ball, no one near me, turned, completely ruptured it. I was like, that was a waste of fucking 6 months.
Yeah.
So you'd done everything that the physio told you to do, and then it happened the first game.
One of the first games back, yeah.
See, that's the one where you need a strong physio. I don't think Maltz would have let you do that, would he? Maltz just said, look, it needs fixing.
See, you need to just fucking repair it. It's the best way to do. See, I can't comment on that because I don't have the knowledge, and I won't look back and say differently.
Shoulda,
but it might, yeah, exactly. But I done that, and then came back from that, and then it was like, right, started playing again, and then I started getting the fucking pains again from my microfractures in both knees, and I was like, right, take me to surgeon, go in. It's like, you need microfractures on fucking both of them, and your cruciate's fucked as well. I was like, okay. He said,
what age will you be here?
I was 28 at the time, but he had previously said on the previous one, he had advised me to retire. He said, Steve, I'm advising you to retire now. I said, fuck it, no, do it, let's go.
It's going to be hard at 28.
I said, do it, let's go. And then when it came to the next one, and it's what he actually said to me that hit home. He's like, Steve, I know I told you to retire last time. I'm telling you to retire this time. The reason I'm telling you to retire this time is because if you want to play football, if you have kids or anything like that, you want to be able to walk, I would retire now because your knees are that bad. And when he said that about the kids, I didn't have kids, I didn't have any, it hit home, and I just went. I was like,
that's me.
Yeah, I have to call it a day. Cried for about 10 days. But yeah, it was horrible. But I was like, rang my agent up and I said, I think that's me. First thing he said was, have you got insurance? I said, should you not know that? I had insurance. I was lucky enough, got a payout. But yeah, it was not a nice thing.
So when it's that period that we've spoke about with a few players of Simon Grayson, Ian Holloway comes in, promotion to the Premier League, and that must have been even harder. Still, the fact that that's it, you've been told that's it, but the fact that, if you had been fit, you'd have had a chance at playing in the Premier League as well.
At the time, I didn't think it was that hard because I was still in amongst it.
Yeah.
So I'd gone straight from playing to be first team coach alongside Steve Thompson and with Holloway.
Did he do that for you?
He did it for me, yeah. Because I'd done my coaching badges, which was great.
Brilliant.
The chairman done me up the arse. He pulled me into the office and he said, right, here's the contract, looked at it, and I was like, what, 12.5k? He said, can we do it up to 20? No, 12.5k. And I was like, 12.5k? I said, oh. He said, I'm not budging on it. If you don't like it, fuck off. I was like, okay. So it took a little bit of time to actually get into my brain, but I was like, you couldn't pay for someone to be first team coach, have it on your CV for 12.5k. You couldn't. Yeah. It's not possible. So I took the big step, and I was like, right, I'll do it. So I ate humble pie, and I was like, right, I'll do it. So I did the first team, did the reserves, helped out with the youth and all that, and then we got relegated at Man U on the last day, and I did all pre-season, still on 12.5k. I was like, Ollie, I need more money. My Range Rover needs more than
4 tyres.
Than 12.5k. But yeah, I needed more to live on. So I think Ollie got me up to either 15 or 17k. But then the chairman threw even more stuff on top of that. So he said, right, Steve, you're doing the first team, you're doing the reserve team, then you're helping out with the youth team, but I also want you to do the development squad in the evenings and at the weekends. I said, I might as well get a house here. Have you got a house for me? I was like, fuck off. Yeah, so that's when I left, and then the rest is history. Start digging a hole. Yeah.
How did you cope with it though? Finishing the playing side? No, I know you were upset.
Well,
at the
that's
time.
what I said. This is why it didn't hit me straight away. So it didn't hit me finishing playing because I was still amongst the lads. I was still. I was I was in the environment, in that bubble. It wasn't until I said up you that when I left, I was like, right, what the fuck do I do now? And as much as a brave face you can put on, as a footballer, you're built up to be fucking strong as fuck. So my biggest thing was I was scared to ask for help because I didn't know what the fuck to do. I had my coaching badges and I can coach here for free, and football clubs take advantage of that. Players that have just come out of football and take advantage of them because they don't know what to do. But I was like, right, just started digging a hole and started drinking, and before I knew it, I didn't realise at the time, I was depressed as fuck, and before I knew it, I was trying to kill myself. It was horrible, because I was scared to ask for help. But then I realised that if you talk to people and you actually open up and you're honest about stuff, people actually relay back to you. It's like, I actually feel like that. Oh, that's how I felt. And I've had such good response.
So was your missus at this point?
I was with her, but it was my missus that actually saved me on one of the occasions. And I do apologise for putting her through that, because you wouldn't want to put someone through that bit. She did save my life at one stage. I don't want to go into the gory details, but even in my head, I thought it was pretty smart. But
what do you mean you thought it was
no, but
smart?
At the time when you're trying to kill yourself, you're actually, because people say to you, "Oh, it's just a cry out for help. It's just a cry out for help." No, I literally wanted to die, and the way that I did it, I thought I was dead and I was a goner. It wasn't for obviously the ex-missus coming in and cutting me out of zip ties. I thought, so it's a weird subject, but if I've got any advice, talk, and ask for help. We have all been in situations that we need help. Yeah, 100%. And it doesn't matter whether it's a job, whether it's whatever, just talk.
Do you think it was just the football that coming out of football, was that what made you go down that road?
My biggest thing was I didn't have a routine anymore.
From 14, like you said.
I've literally, from 14, day in, day out, get up, eat, sleep, football school, whatever it is, learning. And then for that to suddenly, and to be fair, I took it away from myself. That's why when I was coaching, it hadn't gone, because I still had a routine. I was still doing it. Even though it wasn't well paid, I still had a routine. But once I cut my routine off, I was like, right, what the fuck do I do? And you're lost.
Yeah.
There's no guidance. It was, it was horrible.
I didn't know that, mate.
I didn't know that about Mac, honestly. I didn't know.
It was, I actually got Ben Burgess to do a piece on me in the Daily Mail, did a big piece on me. And I'm like, if I can help one person, then it can help. But that's the thing about it. Us footballers are that mentally trained that we can hide fucking anything.
That's true.
You don't know whether I'm up or down. I can put a smiley face on it. It's what's going on in there. But the biggest thing is fucking talk. Talk. And that's why I love watching Dino's videos, because I made my bed this morning. I'm like, well, Dino, you've already put a smile on my face by saying you made your bed.
I suppose, like you said, you went into the coaching role, and that kind of, it almost gave you a soft release, if you will. The fact that
I don't think it gave me a soft release. I think it just masked it for a time.
Yeah.
It just prolonged it for another year.
It would have made me worse, I think.
Because you're losing the
but the thing was, when I was still a coach, I was still mobile and I could still get involved a tiny bit, and I was still there or thereabouts. I just couldn't play football because the wear and tear.
Yeah.
So I was still there, but then when I completely cut it off, it was like out drinking, and then I was like, well, what do I do? And I thought in my head, right, I've got the answers. Right, I didn't have the answers. What I should have done was, right, can anyone help me? I don't know where to go from here.
Who did you speak to?
I won't lie to you, I did ask the PFA for a bit of help, but they got back to me a week later. I could have died by then. But I'm not going to knock the PFA. They've really helped me in the past with a lot of things. But from noticing that, it was me that got myself out of it. It was very hard at the time because I got put on prescription drugs, antidepressants. And at the time I took them, and you know me, I'm fucking hyperactive, ADHD, fucking all over the place, want to be here, there, everywhere. And at the time, it just made me like that. So that was another challenge in its own, because what I did was I had to pretend to my friends and family that I was taking these so that they thought I was on the straight and narrow, but all I was doing was putting them down the toilet, because I knew personally I need to get myself out of this. My brain can get myself out of this. I don't need that. That will just keep me in that zone. I don't want to be there. I need to go to a different place. Yeah.
What? Obviously, we've spoke to Dino about this kind of stuff, and Clark Carlisle spoke about it as well. What do you think the biggest factor is in terms of, obviously there's that loss of euphoria of playing football, the fans, the week in, week out of going on the field and getting that accolade, if you will, or being around teammates and being around the people that you're used to week in, week out? Which
I think there's two things, if I'm being honest with you, there's two things that you can miss. There's that adrenaline rush of scoring goals and being on the pitch, which you can't duplicate. It's not possible. So you possibly go searching in other ways to try and find that, whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling, to try and find that rush, but you can't duplicate it because it's not the same. And then being around your teammates, everyone says it's the biggest thing that they miss, and I'll admit that as well. It is the biggest thing I miss, because who works in an environment where you've got 28 other lads, where you have banter every single day, take the piss out of each other, but you're still on friendly terms? If you were to do that if you were to do that in a normal business work environment, HR would have a fucking field day. But that's why you got that closed environment, and they don't let people, because you work on that level, and if you can't handle the environment, well, then it's a different.
Do you think it's like a form of tribalism in a way? That you're part of a.
I've not seen Macca for 10 years, and it's just like
it seems like yesterday.
Come in, say hello, and I could sit here all night with Macca and get pissed, and I've not seen him for 10 years. Same as if I saw a player who I played with Stoke. You could sit down and it's literally as if you've not
been away. It's very weird.
It's strange, man.
But you're part of a.
It's like a family.
Like tribal. You're part of a tribe, and then all of a sudden you're exiled and you're taken away.
It's one of them where once you're in the tribe, you're always in it.
Yeah,
you're always in that. You've been out of it. You're always in it.
Yeah, you might not keep in touch all the time, like you said. Them two haven't seen each other for 10 years.
No, it's like some of my best friends are footballers, but we don't have to chat every single day, but we'll bump into each other or we'll talk over the phone, and it only seems like bloody yesterday.
Yeah. If you go on holiday in the summer, right, and you book an hotel and you see a footballer around the pool, right, at 11 o'clock in the morning, there's a good chance you're still having a drink with him at 5 in the afternoon. Even if you never played with him. So the fact that you have played with people, I mean, Mac has put some, sent us photos on from the Christmas do from 15 years ago. I can't remember the Christmas do. He's still got the photos on his phone. Must have more fucking stories than I don't know what. That's just how it is. It's a strange thing.
So you're in a better place now? Are you happy?
Yes. No. Why I'm in a better place? I've got a new missus, got 2 little babies. It's the business that keeps me sane more than anything. I've got a routine. Absolutely. Get up in the morning. It don't make me fucking millions, but I've got a routine. I meet people day in, day out, servicing customers.
I didn't realise you had a business. What is it?
Printing.
You ain't got a...
Oh, you'll love the banner.
You ain't got any merch, have you? You
ain't got a sheet out of me to show us.
What's this? Let me see.
This is a first. Hey, wait, look at
a construction job.
You'll love... Oh, I'm flying low, guys.
Paul Daniels here.
I'm looking for this is a first, isn't it?
It is an half.
We've never had a.
If you need any banners or anything like that, just let me know.
We've never had a flip chart before, have we, lads?
Oh!
Hey,
oh! Now we're talking.
There we go. There we go.
I was not expecting that.
No. When you need last-minute printing where no one else can save you, you need to call Minuteman.
Or you need a quick fix in the bedroom.
What a poster.
You're looking well on the picture as well.
You are. Working out.
Brilliant, mate.
Very best.
That's sense. I weren't expecting a superhero popping up. Leave it up, Matt. Leave it up for the last bit. Leave it up. It's fine.
Oh well, cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have you got? So what? Older Bellas? A little bit. Bella's a little bit young.
2 seconds, mate. He's just.
I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's the way it's not stuck down. He doesn't want to stay. I'll just hold
Like
it.
Elon Musk with that. He's broken window.
It's not good that. Not being able to hold my own banner up. But hey ho.
Right, any more Older Bellas at Coventry? You've been at Bellas with Coventry, weren't you?
Oh, Bellis. Jesus Christ, that brings it back another one. So when we were at Coventry and I was at the first team, Bellis must have only been 19. He was only, how old are you? 38.
Yeah.
He was about 2 years older than us.
Yeah, so yeah.
So obviously he signed for Cov from, where did he sign from? Norwich, for a big fee. But he didn't have a driving licence. So when I was with the first team and that, he used to always say to me, Strachan knows that I can't drive, so I can't have my Mercedes, whatever, top of the class Mercedes on the driveway for when I get off the bus. So when I didn't travel, he's like, do us a favour, drive it all weekend, no problem. I'll make sure you're insured in that. I'm like, how can I be insured? You're not insured.
He lost his license.
No, but it wasn't until I looked back and thought, well, I thought he said it, I just believed it. And then, he said, just park it round the corner and I'll give you a few quid. And I was like, I don't need a few quid, I'm happy just driving your bloody car. So there I was, driving all weekend in his top-up Mercedes, not knowing I wasn't insured. But yeah.
So Bellas didn't have a driving licence?
Didn't have a licence, yeah.
At the top of the range Merc,
yeah.
and he used to get you to drive it round for him. So
Mercs, BMWs, Jaguars, yeah.
You must have been the fucking boy about tower, you're in Cov.
He also had a few parking tickets and, and speeding fines. I said, well, it wasn't me. But then he said it wasn't me, I was away.
We just send a speeding fine to someone who's not got a licence, we just send it. Fair play, yeah, top man, mate. Thank you very much. And that banner is right. Whoever's designed that wants a medal.
It's on the back of my van as well if you ever see it. Just say hello.
Back a top man, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pal.
Cheers, chaps.
We're going to picture it next to the back.
You want to take your shirt off, Chris?
Comparison. Before and after.
Oh, it's come out, that's fine.